What is called say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
What's happening?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. I finally get to talk to you.
Yeah, I know. We've been going through everybody all these years, for 4 years, because of Detective Biddle, no outgoing mail, no incoming mail, no phone, no visits, and if I want to hire an attorney, they got to get approved by a judge, county council for the sheriffs, and the DA.
Man, I've been following with great interest. Russell Poole wanted to apologize to you.
Yeah, I heard that, man. He's a good guy. I never lied to him or nobody because, all that stuff, they know who was going on behind all that stuff,
Yeah. Well, he couldn't, in his mind, separate you from Death Row Records. And as we were doing the investigation, I said, you have to understand, Russell, that, Mr. Knight was, in the car next to Tupac. I mean, that's not... And then with the Biggie thing, Mr. Knight was in jail. And I met somebody who was in jail with you at the time, and he said it's impossible that he was on a cell phone back then. Impossible.
It's definitely impossible. I mean, the one thing, too, with Tupac, I still got a 45 bullet inched in my skull. And the thing about it is, they've been knowing all this type of stuff from day one. And that's why they violated me and sent me to prison last time. And the other thing is, for Biggie's son, I'm quite sure if they saw the first one, they would saw the second one because it's the same circle of people,
It is the same circle. I mean,
Yeah.
I got tapped on the shoulder by one of the cop's daughters that was involved, and she told me. I mean, this isn't conjecture anymore. We know the facts.
Yeah, it's the same people, same circle of people.
Yeah.
Have nothing to do with me,
No. I'm in.
I'm raining a little bit, though,
I'm in Wisconsin.
They found a blood clot in my leg,
Oh, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, so Wednesday before Thanksgiving, all my legs and stuff swollen up. So when they went to me, sent me to the outside doctor, they checked out a blood clot in my leg, but they said it's real serious because they can move up faster and your leg can kill you. So
Yeah.
they got me taking 2 shots of blood thinner and a pill at night. And then in Sister County Jail, I was taller than the bunk and I was wider than the bunk for 2904 for almost 2 years or something. So I used to have to sleep balled up. So it messed my discs up a little bit in my back. So I got to fix that, nerve or something. County jail will tell you, yeah, but they put you in the wrong place,
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I'm in Wisconsin right now.
How you doing up there?
I'm doing good. I'm in Wisconsin. I drove George.
Oh, good.
I drove George Papadopoulos to prison.
What happened?
I drove George Papadopoulos, the Trump guy. I drove him to prison.
Oh, he'll be all right. He got good company on the way to prison,
Yeah, exactly. And
you're a good guy, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That'd be real good because people need to actually know, because a lot of people is blind to situations in prison. And then some people get treated 1,000% worse in prison, so that should be accounted for too,
Well, I told him before he went in, I said, George, I really want you to talk to the inmates there and ask them how should the prison system be reformed?
Right.
Because, what an opportunity for him to go in. It's only 14 days, but still a lot of smart people there. And he needs to ask them.
And if you have any problems, you can use my name.
Exactly. I told him when he gets out, I said, you know what? I want you to talk to somebody. And he said he'd love to talk to you. So we'll make that happen.
If he's a friend of yours, he's a friend of mine.
Exactly.
A lot of this stuff is just basically the public is naive to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of things in dealing with incarceration, even businesses, a lot of politics, I mean, it's like I never should have went to prison the first time I went to prison, but I had caught the accounting firm who Jimmy introduced us to. They stole like about 30-40 million dollars, you know.
Wow.
And they was giving them. See, my thing with my accounts was I signed all my checks. So any check was over $5,000, I definitely had to sign it. And they was giving David $100,000 a month, and David said he was giving Jimmy a kickback from $100,000 a month. So we was paying him for all the work he did as an attorney, and they was giving him $100,000 a month.
Wow.
And buying cars and houses and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
So that played an effect on my me getting a violation when I shouldn't have got a violation.
Well, that whole Orlando Anderson thing, man, I mean, it was really bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, even when he came in, they put him on stand, and the judge asked me, said, do you know Suge Knight? I said, you don't know Suge Knight. I said, what did he do? The only thing he did was help me and save my life, which I basically did because, you know, Pac was my little brother and the #1 artist out on the bond, and if he would have got in trouble, he was going back to prison.
Yeah.
So I knew it was cameras everywhere in Vegas because I went to UNLV. They just take us to the top and let us watch. So, you know, I was breaking up saying, cut that bullshit out right in here. But at the same time, they just played with the thing the way they wanted to play with it. And see, the thing is, those guys, if you go back and watch the film, they was already stalking Pac, like watching him. So that just tipped the iceberg when something happened. But there was a plan already to do something to him.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said, I had two of the toughest guys for him, and Reggie pulled them off on me. It didn't have to happen. I told him to send 5 guys from the club to there, and they never sent nobody.
Yeah.
And Frank blocked us in purposely. Later, he told us at the streets. They told him to do it, you know.
Yeah.
Frank got so bad he died, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And Michael Moore.
Yeah. And then Perez and them was all involved. They were trying to kill me too, but see, because Perez and Reg was good friends, and Perez and Sarita and Reg is great friends, and so all those three together was trying to plot, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Russell got it right before he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And you know, and the sad thing about it, Orlando wasn't even the shooter, you know.
No, exactly. No.
And it's said that, but that's not at all. He was actually a good kid too, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've heard from
my
Compton.
Judge said, my judge said he watched the tape 97 times and still couldn't say I did anything.
Yeah.
He asked him, could he just give me less time, like 1 year, or back on probation? And the lawyers never said, yeah. They all kept saying no, but that's not true. He could have.
Yeah.
And I got the paperwork to prove from 2 different DAs and all attorneys. I never had a firearm when I went on probation for it. I mean, when you come say we need to really sit down because I got other people involved and stuff, but you should really be involved with the movies and the documentary stuff because it's not just because a lot of part of the history need to be shown, need to be said because it can help people in the future, you know?
Well, the truth is actually the best story that's ever been told in a film, I believe.
Oh, always. Yeah, always, definitely. That's why I'm saying that's why it's so important to get these things out, and you're the right person to do it because the truth doesn't just stop with one person.
No.
The truth put the law down, the facts down that they don't keep happening again.
Well, think about it. You got drugs, you got guns, you got jealousy, you got music, you got, I mean, it's just such a rich story.
Yeah.
I mean, all kinds of really cool things in this story.
Yeah. Wisconsin, that's a great football state right there.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And, Green Bay.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, you talking about the Packers.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
the college, those guys eat, breathe, sleep football.
Well, and,
Football.
it's such a small town that has a football team, and those are the biggest fans that ever lived in any sport.
What you think the Raiders going to do in Vegas as a football team?
I think that's such a great move for Major League Football. I mean, for NFL.
It's a great move. I think we will hopefully I can be finishing up my time soon because I would love to be there to consult those guys because they need somebody to consult them because there's a lot of opportunities that go the wrong way. You got to watch what clubs you go to, what strip clubs you go to.
Yeah.
Watch out for the hookers. Watch out for the slick stuff. You know, you got to turn it to a real occupation job as an athlete and a family place, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the most important thing about going there, they got to win. And if guys is out past curfew and hanging out too late or getting in trouble, you can't win, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. They need you. You need to be out, man. Your family needs you too.
Did you hear about the thing? Yeah, my family really needs me because I take care of my whole family. My kids are great.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have great kids.
Yeah. Russell never liked Biddle.
I mean, huh?
Russell Poole never liked Biddle. He told me he didn't trust him.
This is the thing. When I got shot, it was 37 cameras in one oak.
Yeah.
Biddle was a detective on that case. He said, well, one day I'm going to cross you. So when the thing happened in Compton, how you a detective on that case also?
Yeah. Big conflict of interest. Russell was going to the sheriff's to talk about the conflict of interest when he passed away.
Yeah. He was a good guy.
He was a good guy.
And then Sheriff Ball handed the shooter the gun, and the next day he took him to the airport. They called him in and said, well, did you take him to the airport? First he said no. Then they showed me what he did. The only thing they did was fire him, but they never said nothing about it, you know?
Yeah. Well, they didn't even fire him right away. They fired him a year later.
Yeah, which just makes no sense because all these things is, huh? No, I got one. So all this stuff come down to them, you know, it's just BS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're a good guy. You know, you just got involved in some bullshit.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah.
Well, and it's been going on.
Where all this stuff really comes from, it's come from because they want the ownership of my company. That's all that really happened.
Yeah.
Every last person. You know?
It goes all back to 1996.